What is good, my pack rats? Pac-Man Case here, and this video idea is brought to you by Sam at Contagious Collections. If you guys have not checked out his YouTube channel, please check it out. It will have a description in the link below. And we are about to talk about our favorite video game franchises. So sit back, buckle up, get ready for an exciting ride as we talk about my Street Fighter collection. Hadouken!
That's what I expected.
Welcome back, my friends. Before we get into this epic Street Fighter collection in this game room, couple things I want to get off the list. Number one, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you guys like things retro related, dorky related, me related, then it's time to hit that subscription button. I would really love it, guys. We just hit over 1,000 subscribers and we are blowing up. The Pac Nation is ready to go. And speaking of Pac Nation, if you guys want to support the Pac-Man Case channel, or if you would like to rep some of who we are in this community, I do have a store. My store is, hold, because I've never done this before, teespring.com/stores/Pac merch. At that point, you guys can see and find the most awesome goodies. We've got masks to keep yourself safe. We've got women's tees. We've got sweatshirts. We got tank tops. We got baby clothes. Oh my goodness, I'm throwing it out there. If you guys would like to support the Pac-Man Case channel, there will be a link below to the store. Have at it, have some fun, and I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. One last item before we get into this awesome Street Fighter collection. I've got to give a huge shout out to Gaming Off the Grid. They were super awesome and they have me as their YouTuber of the month, which is fantastic. I am super grateful. Thank you guys, you rock. If you have not checked out their channel yet, head over there, give them a sub. They are fantastic. They are also blowing up. I think those guys just hit 4,000 subs and growing. A couple of rad dudes with attitudes. Go check them out. You guys will not be disappointed. Without further ado, let's get into this Street Fighter collection. You guys saw these in the beginning of the video. These were actually given to me by Iowa Retro Gamer Dad. Zach, his channel is awesome too. He gave me a Ryu and he gave me a Ken and a little Akuma. Look at those cute little guys. That way I can display them on a shelf and rep my Street Fighter cred even more. These are cool. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. Very, very awesome to have in the collection. Another fun one here, guys, is the Pixel Pal series, and this is Street Fighter's Ken Masters. I have been a fan of Ken Masters from the beginning. He was always my favorite character. I was not a Ryu fan. Ken is where it's at. He had sweet eyebrows and luscious golden locks, and I just couldn't get enough of him. So at this point, Ken has always been my guy, and it's who I play as in Street Fighter, and I've always enjoyed it. But these are super cool. They light up. I think there's a couple other Street Fighter characters of it too. Ken is the only one that I have, so if you guys ever come across one, let me know, and I might buy it from you. All right, while we're on figurines, obviously you can't go wrong with the pop vinyls. Now, I did not go down that rabbit hole of getting pop vinyls, but I did pick up stuff that was Street Fighter related. So, in my pop collection for Street Fighter, I have Dan. Worst character ever, but I love to play as him sometimes. He has this sweet, like triple kick that he can do across the screen. Man, he'll get you. Right when you think you're facing somebody stupid, in comes a triple kick. Watch out. Then, my boy, Ken Masters, is part of the pop collection. Cannot have Chun-Li without having a proper Street Fighter collection. This is an awesome one. This was a unique series because they only had 7 characters in this first run of the pop collections on Street Fighter, and the ones I'm going to show you are what was part of that 7 run. And it's interesting that they chose these characters, but here's another one. This is Balrog, the Boxer, And then you gotta have the Lone Wolf Warrior, Ryu. He's up in that. Then Blanca, a fan favorite. And last but not least, they have Cammy White. So Cammy, fun story about Cammy. If you guys have watched the channel for a while, you know my daughter's name is Cammy. If you had the question, did he name his daughter after a Street Fighter character? Absolutely, I did, and I am proud of it. I nerded out all the way. Her name is Cammy from Street Fighter. I absolutely love it. One day, maybe she'll be able to do a cannon spike. We'll find out. I don't know. But that is my pop collection of Street Fighter characters, and it looks pretty dang good on the shelf, I tell you. A couple off-game ones, guys. This is Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. This is a great film. If you guys have not seen this one, it's awesome. There's some sweet fights in this one. Very brutal, uncut, bloody, just the way that Street Fighter should be. It should basically be like Mortal Kombat, but it was always a little bit more PG, if you know what I'm saying. This movie does not pull any punches, though. Give it a shot. This is the Street Fighter 2 animated movie. And then also, I ended up with this collector's edition, but they made for Street Fighter 4, they actually made an animated film called The Ties That Bind. And this one actually comes with the film and with the game in the box for PlayStation 3. Now, I was an Xbox guy for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation generations, so it's unique for me to have this in the collection because I don't have a lot of PS3 Street Fighter stuff. So added that one to the collection, an awesome one to have to showcase. All right, friends, we're gonna go through some big guys. So I don't actually have a whole lot of arcade sticks. There are ones that I have obviously for my NES, I have some for my Saturn, but these guys were for the 360 and they were special edition joysticks that were made for Street Fighter 4. So here is the first one. This is the Street Fighter, I'll have to come back a little bit. This is the Street Fighter 4 arcade fight stick. You open it up and it has an official Street Fighter Tournament fight stick certificate, and you can see the unit itself has some Street Fighter decals on it, a white button layout. These are awesome. I've taken them out of the box, played with them just a little bit, but I like to keep them pristine in here. This is a very, very cool one to add to the collection. So Street Fighter fight stick. Then they came out with a second edition. This is the Super Street Fighter 4 arcade fight stick. This one, when you open it up, gives you the character profiles on each side. And then you have another graphic here of Ryu, and then kind of a color button layout. So these are awesome. These are huge because they're really hard to display. But for a guy that likes Street Fighter, I'm telling you, this is totally worth it. All right, guys, we're here for games, and games it will be. So I'm gonna start actually from the beginning of my Street Fighter collection until the most current gen. So, and this is just gonna be ran through. We're not gonna do any editing on this guy. So be patient with me as we run through the collection. So first, this is the first Street Fighter game that I ever bought for my Genesis, and that was Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. And boy, did I pick a good one, because there is a huge group of people that think this is one of the best versions, and I believe it just got an HD remake or a remake of some kind that I have not played yet. But this Genesis started me off on my Street Fighter fandom, and I have not looked back since. So we will continue after that. Then I added my Super Street Fighter 2. This one is really beat up, has the ripped label on it, but this was the sequel to Street Fighter 2. Super Street Fighter added new characters where you first got to be introduced to Cammy. And then I wasn't a guy that had a Super Nintendo right off the bat. I ended up getting one after the Genesis, so I've started to add these games to my Super Nintendo collection. But I have the first Street Fighter 2, and then the next one was Super Street Fighter 2, and that also was the same one from the Genesis as well. And then this is the baby that I rented all the time from the video store, and that is my Super Street Fighter Alpha 2. Man, I played this until my system barely worked anymore. I was in love with Street Fighter Alpha 2. My goodness, I don't know what it was, but there was something about this game that just kept me playing all night long as a kid, and it's been a treasure in my collection for a while. So those are part of my Super Nintendo and Genesis stuff. Next in my Street Fighter collection is my Street Fighter Alpha 2 on the PlayStation. Unfortunately, that guy's just loose, and for some reason I have two. I don't know why. Then I have X-Men versus Street Fighter. Man, I fell in love with fighting games, and I was ever since. I absolutely loved these games. These were always part of my collection. I might have had 10 games growing up on my PlayStation. These fighting games were always a staple of the collection for a long time. So X-Men versus Street Fighter on PlayStation. And then if you guys never played it, there was a Pocket Fighter on PlayStation, which has the Street Fighter characters as little cutesy, ootsy, wootsy people. Essentially, it came from a puzzle fighter where the characters were just small on the left and right side while you were playing a Tetris-like puzzle top-down game. And then they ended up just taking these characters and turning it into a fighting game. So Pocket Fighter, great one. Again, I have, just like the 90s, guys, I still have a binder full of loose discs in here. And within these loose discs, I have Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, which is hard to see there. There's that one right there. I used to have the case. I don't know what happened to it. Unfortunately, it's gone. And then also on top of that guy, I have... Oh, another Street Fighter Alpha 2. That's what I talked about already. Wow, way to waste everyone's time. All right, now we're gonna get into Sega stuff, which is very cool. So argumentatively, that's a long way to say sometimes people argue, but lots of people argue that the best arcade ports came onto the Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, and I kind of agree with them. I absolutely love playing these Street Fighter games on that. So first is the Street Fighter movie. Oh my God, what a terrible movie and a terrible game, and I love every minute of them.
Something wrong, Colonel? Come here prepared to fight a madman, and instead you found a god?
So, guilty pleasures, I say so. Then I have the first Street Fighter Alpha series. Again, guys, these Sega Saturn cases, you can print these out on thecoverproject.org, and I did that for ones that I don't have the long box cases for, and it honestly takes up less room than those long box Sega Saturn and Sega CD cases. So those jewel cases were kind of a nut job decision if you ask me. But there you go. So Street Fighter Alpha. Then I started importing stuff. It's a lot cheaper right now. A lot of the Street Fighter games are actually going for anywhere between like $75 to $100 for US releases. So I picked myself up some Japanese releases of Street Fighter Zero, which is Street Fighter Alpha, so that I could play on the Sega Saturn, which is a great port of the game. Then Street Fighter 02, which is Street Fighter Alpha 2, again, great one of the game. My friend gave me a boot up disc for my Dreamcast. I don't have a Japanese Dreamcast, but this basically like hacks it so I can play Shenmue, but it also hacks it so I can play these Street Fighter games on my Dreamcast. So I have Street Fighter 3, this is W Impact, which gives you the first and second games on one, which is an awesome collection, by the way. And then Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which is arguably a lot of people's favorite game in the Street Fighter series. I actually moved myself to Sean during this series. I mean, I absolutely love Ken, but for some reason, Sean just does a lot of cool moves that I thought were unique to his character, and I kind of jumped on him for a while. He's awesome. He's in like a yellow gi. So Sean, nerded out with Street Fighter 3. And then we move on to the PlayStation 2 era, guys. This one is where they were building collections, and they were also trying out some new things. Now for the first one, and I don't have these yet, I don't have Street Fighter EX and Street Fighter EX2. Now what are those, you ask? Those are actually, for the first time, 3D Street Fighter games. So that means they were, you know, trying to mimic stuff like Tekken, trying to mimic stuff like Soul Calibur, and that is this guy right here, and this is Street Fighter EX3. If you look on the back, you can see all the characters are in 3D and a 3D landscape. Not well received, but kind of a cool piece to have in the collection. And then during my PS2 era, when I was a Street Fighter fan and I moved to the PS2, this was the way that I ended up playing a lot of those games, not having to get them connecting back up to my Super Nintendo or Sega. This is the Street Fighter Alpha Anthology and the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, which you are able to play many of the Street Fighter games on, and I loved throwing down on my PS2 all the time. So there they were. All right, guys, next we move to the 360. I was on the 360 camp. Other people were on the PS3, but the 360 was my console of choice. So therefore, I got all my Street Fighter games on that. When the 360 came out came Street Fighter 4, and I obviously had to add those to the collection. So first is Street Fighter 4, just as the standard edition that first came out. Next on the 360 was Super Street Fighter 4. Now this one I'm gonna throw in there early, but they came out with a 3D version of Super Street Fighter 4. So if you ever wanted to play it in 3D, this was the only game that was available on the Nintendo 3DS for Street Fighter. Then you have Ultra Street Fighter 4, and now the disc is shaking in there, which means it's cracked! Son of a... We're good. We're fine. We're just totally good here. Street Fighter 4 I was talking about, and Ultra Street Fighter 4, now you know, and let's go. And then this was a very unique one. So if you guys know the history about this game, this is very, very, I think, still a point of contention for some people. There were supposed to be two games that both developers were working separately on, and that was the Street Fighter X Tekken game and the Tekken X Street Fighter games, which essentially took all of Tekken's characters and put it in Street Fighter's character modeler as well as game mechanics. And then they were gonna flip the roles and they were gonna put Street Fighter's character into all of Tekken's graphics as well as mechanics. But that game never happened, but this one did. So I was actually really impressed with their ability to put people like King and Heihachi and Jin Kazama with Street Fighter moves. It ended up turning out pretty well. I thought this was a great game in the Street Fighter series. I have been a fan of it. Some people aren't, but you know, I mean, to each his own, right? Okay, friends, we are getting to modern consoles, so we are already at the PS4. So what I have in my Street Fighter collection is Street Fighter V. Now, this is the first time out of all of the Street Fighters that I was disappointed. So this game, if you guys don't know the history about this one, it came out pretty much incomplete. So right when you got it, you were able to maybe do an arcade mode and something else. I think there was only a total of like 12 characters available to play. It was an absolute joke, and it was frustrating to a lot of people that were excited about additional characters, additional move sets, new mechanics, and this game really did not provide anything fresh for a lot of the players, and very disappointed. Its sales were very, very frustrated for Capcom, and I was frustrated as a player. So, but they did redeem themselves at this point with a couple new ones. So then they came out with Street Fighter Arcade Edition, which gave you the DLC of the characters. It also gave you expanded modes, and you were able to jump online with bonus challenges and those types of things too. And then they just came out with the Championship Edition, which basically gives you the entire roster from beginning to end, which is almost 40 characters, and a very, very cool one. So I've been a fan of the Street Fighter V since this Championship Edition came out. I kind of felt like that was worth my money. Obviously, I wasted it buying the other two, but this one pretty much sealed the deal on me being a fan of Street Fighter V again. And then we are to the last of my games, guys. This is my Switch collection on Street Fighter, which is only 2 games, but they finally finished the last of the Street Fighter 2 series, which is Ultra Street Fighter 2, which actually adds Evil, Ryu, and Violent Ken, which are new characters to the series. If you're an original Street Fighter 2 fan, this absolutely has to be in your collection. And then what I think is the best compilation ever created for Street Fighter, that is the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Edition. And there is something about the way they compiled this collection and the way you're able to choose quickly between your games makes this absolutely awesome. And I got it on the Switch so I could be portable with it or play it at home. I have found so much fun in this, and is the only way that I am able to get the original Street Fighter, because I think it was PC only if I'm not mistaken, or a console I didn't have as a kid. So the original Street Fighter before Street Fighter 2 is also available on this game, and it's a piece of crap, but if you would like to go back and revisit some history, there you go. All right, Pack Rats, I'm gonna wrap this up here with some fun books. I don't have a whole lot of Street Fighter Collection books, but what I do have, I've been a huge fan of. So if you guys didn't know, I am a graphic artist. I've been doing it for a while. It are things that I started out with kind of the filmmaking career. I wanted to go to school to be like a 2D animator. So I've always been a huge fan of artwork and kind of an artwork style. So any time that I can pick up any type of Street Fighter books or art books, I do. This is actually the Street Fighter 5 Collector's Guide. So this actually goes through all the characters' moves as well as some cool artwork, I think, which are maybe in the front. Oh, here you go. This one goes through artwork on the characters and kind of shows you what their character models were gonna be like. I love stuff like this. I ended up finding this one at like Goodwill or Value Village for $5. And then there's a couple I've bought outright, and that is the Street Fighter Tribute book, as well as the Street Fighter Eternal Challenge. Now, these are published and made by Udon, and the character models are from the Street Fighter video games. So this would be examples of Ryu all the way back through character profiles. And then this one actually gets, the Street Fighter Tribute actually goes into a little bit more detail on the various type of promo art and things that were made for Street Fighter. And man, I fall in love with this stuff. I think the artwork is cool. I have so much respect for people that know how to draw and can make these amazing character designs. Oh man, every day I just fall in love with that stuff. So those are things that are also in my collection. That's all, folks. That is my Street Fighter collection. That is my video games, my figurines, my arcade fight sticks. Thank you guys for sticking around and checking it out. If you guys like this video, give it a like. Make sure to hit that sub button if you guys haven't yet for more things about this room, the collection, and everything gaming related. I will be here for you. Thank you to Sam at Contagious Collection for asking us what our favorite franchise was. This was a blast to do. Thank you, Gaming Off the Grid, for that awesome shout out. And if you guys haven't got a shirt yet, go pick one up. Rep it. Be a pack rat, my friends. At this point, I'm just hot. Like, we're in Washington and it's roasting and I have no AC and I'm done and I'm tired and oh my goodness. Just hit the button and see me next time if I'm still alive. Whew.